Curious about the week ahead? Well, come and join me and let's have a chat about it. Hello, Stacey the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another weekly oracle reading for the week of October 18th. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hoping that this video finds everybody happy and healthy and healed and whole. So let's call in all the archangels, ascended masters, highest guides, light beings, creature teachers, elementals, loved ones in spirit. Come on into this space to give us the clarity and guidance that we need to really just have an amazing week. Let's have the most amazing week possible. And our card just flew out. This week I am reading from the Star Tarot by Cathy McClelland. This is a fairly new deck to me. I've been working with it through a number of different courses and things, and I just love it. And so, drum roll please, this week we have the Emperor. And I love the Emperor. The Emperor is all about birthright. It's all about recognizing that I have the right to be here, just as I am. If we think about the Emperor is definitely responsible for its land. It's responsible for, its people. There is an element of authority here, but it's authority, again, with birthright. It's not authority that I have to earn or I have to ask permission in order to be able to make decisions that I know are going to be the best for me and the best for all involved. It's saying, I'm not asking for permission. I am choosing. And I'm going to choose from the heart. I'm definitely going to choose from a heart-centered space, but I'm also choosing from the realm of intuition. And not everybody may understand my choices. It may not make sense to them, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense to them because it makes sense to me. I'm receiving the guidance. I'm receiving the intuition. I have a feeling. I just know. I sense. I've had a vision that this is going to work out. This is going to be the right path. And I'm taking it. I'm moving forward. So this week, I feel like the message here is how can you really stand in your own power? How can you stand in your own power this week and say, yeah, it may not make sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to me, and this is how I'm going to move forward. It's not that you're setting an intention to cause anyone else harm, to upset the apple cart with other people, but this is definitely not a people-pleasing card. This is a card where it's about pleasing yourself, not at the expense of other people, but you're pleasing yourself because you know ultimately this is what feels right for me. This is what I know I have to do. Again, I've received the vision or I've heard the message that this is the path I'm going to take, and it just makes sense. It just feels right to me. So where in your life this week can you adjust and course correct so that the decisions that you're making, so that the steps that you're taking forward are fully owned and embraced by you? Yes, you can have some influence from other people, but I'm feeling like this week, it's really less about the influence of others and more about I'm tuning the rest of the world out and I'm just going within and listening to that inner guidance. That inner guidance is going to take me exactly where I need to be. This card is really interesting because it's kind of like a conglomeration of all sorts of different elements in the major arcana of the tarot. So we have the sun and the moon up top, and it is joined by the star. So we have the light, we have the intense light, we have the illusory light, or the light that sheds a different perspective on things, the night light versus the daylight. It's all truth when we're dealing with the sunshine. It's all about the truth, highlighting the truth of a situation. And sometimes truth can be harsh. Sometimes truth isn't necessarily what we want to see. And then we've got the moonlight. The moonlight sheds a gentler light to it, but it can also create the element of illusion. You look at something at night and it doesn't look the same as it does during the day. You have to get up close to it because there's shadow. You have to get up close to it to say, oh, my God, I thought that was a monster under my bed that was, coming at me, but it turns out it's my toy fish. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had toys, but anyway, it's all about that illusion, right? It's the illusory light or light that casts shadow. And then of course the star is bright, it's illuminating, it's inspiration. And when you have both aspects of the sun and the moon on there, you've got magic. You've got all of the ingredients and the makings of magic because you can see all different perspectives. Then you've also got the black and the white horses. Horses are extremely powerful animals. They're workhorses. They have spirit. They have a motivation and a drive. They have the desire to work in a group environment or a team environment or just, partnership, pairing up. They're working with you. And we've got the dark and the light. We've got the black and the white. So we're dealing with opposites. We're dealing with extremes. Not necessarily that the dark is bad. It's just shadow. And we need to bring in the shadow and implement integrate the shadow into the light. And likewise, the light sometimes can be too bright. And we need more of sort of the shadow energy or the opposite, its opposite, to bring us a little bit more into balance. So we are dealing with extremes here. And then on either side of him, he's got this beautiful cougar, tiger, leopard. I'm going to say cougar. It looks like a cougar next to him. And on the other side, he's also got another sort of gold antlers and a shield of sorts. So not so much opposites there, but I feel like life, like animate versus inanimate, right? So I'm feeling like this is indicating this week that it's so important for you to recognize that there are opposites to things, but those opposites, each in their own way, provide a different perspective on what it is that you're looking for, on what it is that you're moving towards, on what it is that you find yourself in. And each of them has their own version of gold. It's the nuggets, and how can you make these work for you? In a lot of ways, this reminds me of the Chariot, that free will and willpower, melding of opposites to come together and take you to a new path and a new perspective. And the number 4. 4 is all about foundations, creating foundations, living within the work and the effort that goes into creating the life that you want. And when you are in that position of, I'm receiving all of the guidance, I have everything within me and around me that I need to be successful and to move forward and to make confident choices. There you go. Making sure that you have the foundation to be able to support that, to honor that. Whew. All right. Well, and let's dive into the Oracle reading. And this week we are pulling from the Goddess Power Oracle deck, and this is from Colette Baron-Reid. Haven't pulled from this deck in a really long time. So let's see what the complimentary message is. Oh, Ishtar, communion. And how interesting that we have the Emperor and then we have communion. So we've got a 4 and we've got the 23 here, which is actually 5 in numerology. So 4 is that foundation, the work and the effort that goes into building something, a little bit of manifesting going on here. And then the 5, it's sequential. When you have the foundation, when you embrace what is coming through for you and you're not in a people-pleasing mode, you're in a I'm going to please myself mode because I know that that's what needs to happen. The next level is you create change. You create change that is going to bring about communion with others and communion with your divine self, that high self space, communion with your divine dream team, the archangels, the ascended masters, and with spirit, divine spirit, source, communion with source. This week, when you let go of people pleasing, or when you, and let's say you're not a people pleaser and you don't really have a hard time with this, what I would say to you is with the Emperor is recognizing that along with birthright comes responsibility. Well, how can you bring some responsibility into communion? What layer and level of communion are you bringing to the table when you're communing with other individuals in your life, when you're communing with nature, when you're communing with your divine dream team? What are you contributing what are you bringing to the table? Change, shifting, transformation. This is much needed. It's required. It's necessary. We are all here to grow and evolve and to go with the flow. And sometimes that means we have to step into our birthright in order to be able to find better ways, healthier ways, easier ways, smoother ways to commune with our fellow human being. I'm really drawn to the fact that around her neck, she's got a sort of a necklace of bones, but in the bones, there is a key that is being highlighted. And not only is it being reflected on her heart, it's the heart side and her heart space, so the key to the heart, but she's also, if you notice here, there's all of this yellow and white around her. Solar plexus chakra, this is the seat of the soul, and the white is the crown chakra, the connection to source. So we've got heart and soul, head and soul, the divine opening the soul space, and you've got the heart, the key to the heart. You have to be in alignment. You have to receive the guidance from the universe. You have to receive the guidance from source, and you have to process it through your soul this week in order to be able to unlock the heart. And the way to do that is through your birthright, owning what is already yours, taking it without having to ask for permission, simply owning it. I am this. I am awesome. I rock. I don't need permission to live my life. I don't need permission to explore the opposites, to explore the duality. I don't need permission to commune with whoever I want to commune with, in whatever way I want to commune with it. I need to have responsibility around what I'm communing with. I need to take responsibility for the part that I'm playing and how I am approaching it. But I do not need permission. So where in your life this week can you shed this idea of I need to ask for permission? And take it a little further, and why do I feel I need to ask permission? And whose permission am I actually seeking out? That's important, and that's a whole different topic, but just some food for thought, because when you get to that where I feel like I have to ask for permission, maybe that is an outdated way of looking at things for yourself. Maybe it's time for that to go, so that you can embrace more of your freedom, more of your individuality. That's what we're all here for. All right, let's pull a feather from the feather jar. Ooh, we got a nice blue one. Dreams. This is going to be a separate message from the two cards. I'm hearing very much this week, energetically, the energy that's going on, it's going to affect all of our dream state. Lots of either restless nights, sleepless nights where you're just tossing and turning and you're not able to really kind of get into that dream state, or you're the polar opposite where you're feeling like you really need to go to bed early because you're just doing nothing but dream. I feel like it's important to say, if you are falling into the category of the person who has tons of dreams, it's not that you're going to wake up tired, and I feel like you're going to have enough energy to get through the day. Surprisingly, without a nap, it's going to be amazing. You're not exhausted, but the dreams are significant. So make sure that you're jotting down, bullet pointing what dreams are coming through, because I feel like the energies are stirring things up on purpose, and things are being stirred up, but then there's resolution that's actually happening in the dreams themselves. So the dreams that are happening, especially if you're having those bizarre kind of dreams where you're like, oh my God, I don't know how, but I was really there. And I don't know who those people were, but they were real, and I was real, and it was as real as you and I sitting here talking today. When you have those, what's happening is you are working through some resolution so that you're not having to do it in the 3D world, in the waking world. Ultimately, maybe it's a person that you didn't know, maybe it's a person that you do know. And you're being able to work through a lot of things that are coming up. Perhaps it's coming up through their soul, perhaps it's coming up through yours, perhaps it's both, it's a mutual thing. But you're working through it and finding resolve or finding solutions to problems in the dream state that will be applied in the waking state, or it's done now, it's resolved, so we're not going to run into that situation in the waking state. So keep that in mind this week with the dreams. And it's on a blue feather, so I feel like it's very much about, it's just a different form of communication. throat chakra, finding your truth, speaking your truth, learning to communicate it in a creative way. Your dream team tries to communicate with you all the time. And the veil is so thin, actually there's kind of almost, well, there is still a veil, but, or there's a bit of a distance because we are talking about different dimensions. But the dream state, it's so much easier for them to connect with us in the dream state. That's why our dreams get really wild. They've been wilder and wilder, especially the last couple of years, because the energy has shifted. And if you are sensitive in any way, shape, or form, and it's likely if you're watching this, you are, that's why your sensitivities are heightened, because it's easier to receive from those other dimensions. So don't be afraid of it. All right, guys, that's our reading for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you like what you see here, click that bell to subscribe to my YouTube channel and get to know all of the different videos that we release. Also, I have a Facebook page, The Black Feather Intuitive. Insta, theblackfeatherintuitive.com. Would love to connect with you there. I do a show called Winged Wednesday on every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook channel. Would love to see you there. I always answer 3 free questions. I do 3 readings, and I also do a general reading for anyone who is watching. It's always a great time. I have a wonderful wing woman, Crystal, who joins me, and we're always laughing. Sometimes a little too much, I think, for me, but it's really a lot of fun. Also, would love to connect with you if you've never had a reading before, or let's say you just have one question and not enough time for a full reading. I have an awesome service called Guidance on the Go. It's an email service. You submit your question via email once you've booked your service, and I have 24 hours to tune in and respond to your question and send the response back to you via email. It's kind of like having a psychic on speed dial, and it's a great way to really I want to say get a second opinion. Sometimes it's great for validation or confirmation of something you're already feeling. Or if you're really trying to make a decision and you're not really sure which way to go, it's a great way to hear from your dream team, hey, this is the path that we want you to take. You know, this is the path that's going to be for your highest and best. Who doesn't want some of that, right? So we'd love to be of service for you in that way. Feel free to reach out to me. Take care, guys. Have the most amazing week. Can't wait to see you next time. Take care.